In this video, we are going to be talking about our journeys of sobriety, our journeys of addiction, how we got sober, all of that good stuff. So if you're in a place where maybe you're drinking or you're using and you're curious about what that path looks like to sobriety, this is the video for you.
And if you're new here, my name is Jessy.
My name is Bee.
And welcome to our channel. We help women heal from the inside out through breathwork, energy work, and conscious coaching. So if that sounds like a good fit for you or something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button. It will be right here. And yeah, we're going to dive right into this sobriety episode.
This is a really great video for someone who's really addicted to alcohol, drugs, whatever that is. It could be something else other than substances, to be honest. But also for people that had not struggled with addiction and maybe were just social or recreational occasional users, but want to be more sober or completely sober, because our journeys are very different. So I was very addicted to alcohol and drugs, particularly cocaine. When was that? I got sober 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago. So that's wild. And Jess, what was your experience like?
My experience was I was a social drinker. And I started it as just a New Year's resolution. Let me see if I can go a year without going out and drinking. And then it turned into, wow, I really love the clarity that I have. I actually never want to drink again. And then all the realizations came I was using it as a social crutch. And I had a lot of anxiety and I didn't necessarily want to go out and do it, but that's what everybody in my community was doing. So I was there to partake.
Right. So you kind of felt some pressure.
Yeah, there was just pressures when you go out, that was just I feel like that's a lot of the queer culture and the gay scene is you're going out for drinks, you're going out to these bars, and drinking and drugs is just kind of what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know in the comments below, if that is, sort of similar to your journey. Maybe you just drink because that's the thing that your friends do, and maybe you wouldn't do that if your friends weren't doing it. That's huge. So let us know.
What was the deciding factor for you? Is there a defining moment in your sobriety journey where you were I need to get sober, I want to get sober? What did that look like for you?
Okay, so it's helpful to give a little bit of background. So I started drinking around the age of 19. I was such a goody-good square in high school. I was very shy. I was not super social. I had a few close friends, but that's it. So my drinking and partying phase really started in college, and it was such the norm, I went to a big state school, party school, that was just the culture of everyone that I had connected with. And I also found that alcohol, I first started using alcohol, and that allowed me to be this kind of different person. I thought that it was more of myself, but I know now that wasn't really me, but it just allowed me to tap into this version of me that was extroverted and the life of the party, and everyone gravitated towards me, and that was the opposite of what B had been in high school and even middle school. So that was super exciting for me. However, I remember even talking to therapists over time, in college, and being near the end of college, probably junior, senior year, and I was nervous about my drinking. I was scared. I was getting okay, maybe this is too much. I was blacking out, every weekend, not remembering things, fighting with friends. It was just total chaos, doing things, ending up in situations, being with men that I did not necessarily want to be with, and waking up and being oh my gosh, So that was scary for me. But I remember talking to this one therapist in particular, and he was don't worry, you'll stop. You'll drink way less after you graduate. And I just remember feeling that's not true. I'm gonna still drink. And that's exactly what happened, and it only got worse. So, fast forward to grad school, moving to New York, getting into relationships that were super abusive on all levels, harming myself in ways that were just so freaking destructive. You would think that those moments might be my bottoms. Even when I tried to take my own life, trigger warning. I also feel like, you know, sometimes these things, these really dark traumas, like taking your own life and sexual abuse, like we're so afraid to talk about it because we don't want to trigger another person. But like, I do believe that we need to talk about these things, and I don't know the best way to go about that, but I'm just going to let you know, like, I have the most pure intentions to share, not just for the sake of sharing, even though that's important too, but like also to be a light for other people, to know that like if you're in that space, it's like you can get out of that space. That is not your forever. I truly thought that I was going to die, that I wouldn't make it past the age of 30. Like I just did not see a future after the age of 30. So it's crazy. I'm 33 now and I'm like literally living my best life. So there is hope, and there is a reason why I'm sharing all of this. So you would think that, you know, me trying to take my own life, oh my God, when was that? In 2017? Like that would be my bottom. No, you would think like police getting called every single weekend with my ex-partner because of abuse and me screaming and him like literally terrorizing the crap out of me would be my bottom. No, it was really just the point to where I got so exhausted of all of that, so exhausted from police getting called, so exhausted from like making up lies about how I got like different bruises. I remember one time I had to go to work. I was a therapist at the time. I worked at a private practice. Like I was in a very professional setting. It was like I had two different lives. It was so crazy. But I was going to work with this child, and I had like he messed up my eye some way, and it was like kind of, it looked like really red and like bloody. It was like, I think he busted like like a blood vessel or something. And I remember lying to people at work, you know, like, oh, some kid, you know, threw the football and it got me right in the eye. Like, I was like, is this really my life? That still was not my bottom. Like, it took so much exhaustion from all of that. And honestly, like, when I separated from that person, my life got more peaceful. And so I was still drinking during that time, but it was less, but it was still problematic. And in that period, I made a choice to be like, no more. I'm actually I think I want to experience something different. So I think there's like this kind of misconception where it's like you have to hit rock bottom and that's when you get this moment of clarity. And that, like, no, it was actually when I got a little taste of what peace could feel like that I was like, okay, I don't have to do this forever. I really didn't think I was going to be sober forever. I was like, okay, I'll just be sober for like maybe a week, a month, whatever. I didn't commit to anything, which was super, super helpful. Like if you're in that place and you feel like committing to sobriety is such a big, daunting, like mountain of a thing, just commit to like sometimes 1 hour, 2 hours, one day. Like you're not committing to the rest of your life. But then that's what it turned into for me. So that's a long-winded answer of saying that's how I decided to get sober.
My experience, I joined the military like right when I was out of high school, 18, and that's when I started drinking because that's just the culture in the military. Yeah, it's drinking every weekend, it's drinking after work, and it's just kind of like depression, to be honest. And then because you're just kind of like looking for a way to escape like the job that you don't really want to be doing. You know, it's a lot of like intense mental, like emotional and physical load that you're carrying every day when you're in. And yeah, and then I when you were talking, I was thinking about a time where it was kind of like definitely my bottom, and more so when I started thinking about being sober, because there was a period of time before I did this New Year's resolution that I didn't drink for like a year, and this was like after my divorce. So I was in a super abusive marriage. It was like physically, mentally, emotionally abusive, and that was like the height, I think, of my partying and my drinking and being a little crazy, like doing things that I wouldn't normally do, especially with like a military career and how I was progressing. There's a lot at stake, and yeah, I was making choices that I wouldn't normally do, and I was partying until like 3, 4 in the morning, and then like showing up to work at 5 or 6 to go like run, and like that's insane. And then, you know, like my ex-wife was, you know, an alcoholic, and I was subjected to that and that abuse, and that was like kind of what pushed me away from alcohol too. And that's when I realized after we separated, I was like, I really need to be with someone who like doesn't drink like this. I can't be with, because there was so much anxiety anytime we would go out somewhere. Like I was always just kind of like counting her drinks. Like, okay, how many drinks is she gonna order, you know, while we're at dinner? Like I'm just on eggshells, and that's like not a good feeling to have.
Was there like a certain amount of drinks that you knew like that was tipping over the threshold? Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a rough night.
Yeah, like after like the 5th glass of Chardonnay, like that's when I knew. I was like, okay, stuff's gonna start getting funky now.
Wow.
And yeah, so anyways, so like it was probably like a good year after our separation that I didn't drink at all. And then when I ended up moving to Florida, that was kind of like when I started reintroducing myself to drinking, because that was just the scene there. And then, you know, I had that second awakening, like, no, this is actually not what I want to be doing.
What allowed you to have that second awakening? Was there a moment or a feeling?
I don't think it was a moment. I'm a very like, if I commit to something, I'm all in. And I was just like, I am going to do this. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do this New Year's resolution. And then it very quickly turned into, yeah, I'm going to like run with this, and I'm not going to drink again.
Right, because you committed to 1 year.
Yeah, and initially I was like, oh, I'll probably make it like a couple months, and then like I'm going to have FOMO, and then I'm going to want to like, you know, because there was a period of time that I was still trying to go out with my friends to the bars. I was still trying to go out and hang out in these bars, and it was so depressing to be the sober one. And like you're like seeing everyone just like, you're just like, wow, like you're escaping from something, you're really depressed, like you're heartbroken. This is a really sad environment. It was bringing me down, and I was like, that was the point where I think the last place I ended up going, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much for me to bear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like drinking just really lowers your vibration. It's obviously, we all know it's poison, right? But like it can be super fun, and for me, like not always, but sometimes when I would drink, maybe more often than not, I would get like this euphoric feeling too, and I just thought it was like bringing out, I don't know, sometimes like the real me, the best in me, and like that is such an illusion. Like if you ever felt that way, like let us know.
Yeah,
you felt that way.
Because I feel like I was like, oh, it makes me so much more extroverted and outgoing and crazy and silly and like, you know, kind of like childlike.
Right, because it lowers your inhibitions.
But it's also like you can tap into that without alcohol.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you brought that up.
You can tap into that energy without alcohol.
You can, it's true. Because if you would have told B 7 years ago that I could dance, have fun, be myself without alcohol, I would have laughed in your face and said, you're not for real. Like there's no way. I literally thought I would never have fun. I would never go out and dance. I would never do anything really fun again, because that's what I wanted. I just wanted to play. Like literally, I'm kind of like processing this right now. I don't know if I've like ever processed it in this way, but I had an inner child part that just grew up super, super fast and just wanted to play, just wanted to like let her hair down, scream, like do whatever. Like I would go to festivals. That's when I got into like, you know, some drugs, and like not saying that all drugs are bad or whatever. Like even alcohol isn't bad, actually. Unpopular opinion, but like it's your relationship to it, you know? So like whatever. I would just let loose at these festivals. Like it was like an adult playground, and I just got to be so free, and I just thought I'll never be able to have that freedom again. And that's so not true. Like the more that I came into myself, got comfortable with my body, started loving myself, I make a fool out of myself all the time. Like, I dance like no one's watching. Like, I'll sing. Like, you can be free without alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, pot. Oh my God, we didn't even talk about
We didn't
that.
talk about pot.
In 2 and a couple months, years, like, sober from cannabis.
Well, the last time, okay, funny segue, but like this was I got so high. I got so high that it felt like I kept this friend of mine supplied, and I took a half of a gummy, and then we were so high from that we kept forgetting that we were hitting the pin, and I probably hit it like 12 times, and we were walking downtown, and it felt like I was just like gliding across the sidewalk, and I was so sick. It was so uncomfortable, and I was like, I can't do this anymore, actually. That's the worst. That was the last time I ever used pot.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, so okay, fun fact. Also, what helped me get sober from alcohol was pot, okay? And I'm super grateful to cannabis for being like that segue. Like, I felt like I needed something, after alcohol. I didn't, but I felt like I did. And so cannabis was there. Like, every night, I just started smoking like every night after work to like take the edge off. I was super high anxiety. I quit alcohol cold turkey, by the way. Don't recommend. Definitely, if you're physically dependent like I would get the shakes after, if I didn't have it. I'd wake up in the morning and drink. I know it's like crazy to imagine. A lot of people are like, what? You? Yes, me. It can look like anything, but or anyone, but don't do that. Like, that's so dangerous. Like, you could have seizures. You could die literally from withdrawing from alcohol. So please, go get professional medical help if you need it doing that. Cannabis really helped me sort of relax. And, I still felt like I needed something outside of myself. So that was the thing. And I became a stoner. I was just using pot for like 5 years, but it was fine for that time because number one, it didn't F my life up. Luckily with alcohol, I didn't get any DUIs. I didn't hurt anyone. I really only hurt myself. I did hurt other people. That's not true. I'm saying like in a car. But it alcohol messed my life up. Cannabis did not. Like, I was fine, like, it was really fine. Towards the end of that 5 years, I began to, have more of an awakening, and I didn't like that I was dependent on it. I was psychologically dependent on it. I was definitely psychologically addicted to it. Like, yes, you can get addicted to marijuana, another unpopular opinion, but I felt like I needed it all the time. I'd wake and bake, smoke all throughout the day. And I just didn't like that feeling. And also it started to make me paranoid. And it started to like increase my anxiety. And I'm like, wait, I use this to decrease my anxiety, and now it's giving me the anxiety that I don't want. I gotta stop. So I just decided, I just did. And that's like the other thing that we wanted to talk about was like, there's no right way or manual or cookie cutter thing that we can give you, a step-by-step process to get sober. Like, I am just the type of person where I've realized, like, if I say and feel like I'm going to do something, I make up my mind about it and I commit to it, I just do it. And like, that's what probably has to happen. Like, you're going to get to your bottom, your point, whatever, where it's like, okay, I'm just going to do something different. And so you just decide, like, it really is that simple.
Right. It's just a commitment to yourself and getting to that place where you know, feel, and trust that you are worthy of being sober and having that clarity within. And then I also wanted to touch on too, when you make this decision, to commit to not drinking, so many people are going to fall away. So many people, your drinking buddies, your groups of friends. I had friends who were supportive in the beginning, and then that quickly kind of turned into, okay, well, I'm going to drink in front of you. And it's just like, I can't be it's just not an environment that I fit in anymore. And that's
Yeah.
not to like,
You're not above it.
I'm not above it. I'm not being pretentious. It's just, yeah, I don't want to be around it.
Yeah.
It's just not my vibe anymore.
Yeah.
And like, you be prepared to lose people.
Yeah.
Lose close friends who you go out and drink with all the time.
You can't take them with you.
You can't. That's that's very much a part of this process. There's a lot of people that you're going to have to let go of.
Yeah.
With the alcohol, with whatever substance that you are addicted to.
Yeah. And in me saying, like, I just kind of made the decision and I did it, I'm not saying it was easy. It was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. Also, like, a therapist pointed this out to me years later, and I don't recommend this either, okay? Like, I did it without a team. I didn't have a therapist at the time. I didn't have, a doctor that was helping me detox. I didn't go to rehab, which I should have 110%. I wish I would have, but I didn't have any support in that way. Like, I had a person, next partner actually, who was getting sober with me, and like, that was it. Don't recommend that either. But it worked for me. So like, I'm not mad at it. It's my journey. But like, what I'm saying is, if you decide to do this, know that there are people, there are places, support, all of that, to help you go through this, because it's not an easy journey that you're committing to, but it is a brave one and it is a noble one, and you're being called to do it for a reason. So don't ignore that. And maybe you relapse and it takes you another time. Like, there's no shame in any of that on the journey. What's most important is that you keep coming back to it if it feels right for you. And if you're like, this doesn't feel right for me, I want to keep partying, you do you. Like, no one could tell me to get sober before I decided that I wanted to get sober. Believe that. So many people, my family, friends, I could hurt so many. People would cry in front of me saying, how like, to someone who's addicted and so lost in that, that's all that matters. Like, nothing else matters. Like, it's very much you and that thing. And once you can break from that, okay, then that's when it's like, okay, I make the decision. But if you're still in that, like, I respect your journey and I trust your journey and I trust your process, because I trusted mine, and look at where I'm at today.
Right. So we're going to link some helpful resources below in the description box. If you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more on our sobriety journeys.
Awesome. So, as always, take what you need, leave the rest, and go love yourself.